Friday, and so we're doing our Friday chat with Linda and Connie today. And I look forward to this all week. So hi, Connie, how are you?
Hi, Linda, I'm good. And I just found us on Facebook,
good.
so it's working.
Excellent. Yep. Always like to hear that it's working. Well, today we're going to talk about something that Connie and I, is what we came together over initially. And that is the 3 C's. And that for us is clarity, confidence, and control. And we talk a lot about that because so many people don't feel they have much of any of those things, especially lately. And so let's talk about then, Connie. What does it mean, clarity, to have clarity, confidence, and control? What does it mean for you? And then I'll jump in.
For me, well, it feels better, no? Like if you have clarity, confidence, and control, it feels better. When and like we said, they all flow into each other. So it's almost like if one is out of whack, it's like you feel it in your body, something isn't right. But if you don't have all 3 of them, then I would just say like you're a little lost and you don't know what to do. You don't know, you feel very insecure. You feel like you're totally at the mercy of whatever is going on around you. And this, it's almost like you feel then it's a lot of wasted time too, and wasted energy, because you really just have, you're just floating somewhere and you feel, or you feel like one of these balls that get pinged around everywhere. Yeah. And so to me, I'm always a seeker for all these 3, like for clarity, confidence, and control. And I'm not always at the highest level of each one of them, but what I'm trying to do is I'm always seeking to get there, because with clarity, I know what I want to focus on, what is important to me and what I want to focus on. And from there, I can actually build up my confidence, because I know where I want to be. And then with the clarity and the confidence, I feel more in control. But I can also start at the control part and say, okay, what do I have under control? Like, I don't have the world under control. I don't have the pandemic under control. That virus, we all definitely don't have under control. But if I come back to me and actually really look, what do I have under control? I get more clear. And because I'm getting more clear again, I'm becoming more confident. So it's kind of like, that's why I feel like we can't really separate any of the 3 from each other.
No, you're right. You can't. They all play into each other. And I think, control is, I think when we talk about control, people often think of that people are trying to control things. And I think that's when they often lose a lot of confidence and lose a lot of clarity, because they're trying to control what they can't control. And that is external circumstances, what other people are doing, what's happening globally, what the politicians are doing. All of these things you have absolutely no control over, but people worry about them and put a lot of energy into trying to figure out how they can control any aspect of those things and what it's doing to them. Well, and that you'll lose confidence right away, because of course you can't control them. And then you don't have clarity because you're focusing on something that is beyond your control. And so it does kind of all tie into each other. So, the first thing is, I think, to really think about, okay, what can I control? Like you said, the only thing I can control is me, my thoughts, my emotions, my responses to things. And when you stop trying to think about all the external things that you can't control, when you stop trying to do that and just focus within and focus on yourself, then that does open you up to gain clarity. Because it's like, oh, well, there's no point in putting my energy into that because I can't do anything about it. So let me just focus on my response to it. And what can I do? That is when you allow clarity to come. And when you have those 2 things, then you you start to see what you can control, and confidence comes from that, because you start to see things working out for you because you're focusing on the right things. And so you're right, they really do all play into each other. They're not isolated in any sense. So
No,
yeah.
no. And I love what I read the other day is also that confidence doesn't necessarily mean that we're never gonna fail or that we're the greatest or whatever. Confidence just means we have the strength in ourselves to know that we're moving on and we're unstoppable, you would call it. No, you said, you talk a lot about being unstoppable. It just means we're unstoppable and we're figuring it out, or we're moving forward. No, and also with control is it's a lot of people struggle when you say, oh, you have only you under control, you can't control the outside, and then they're still focusing on the outside. Yeah, but they're doing this, so that's why I can't do this. And it's not true. You can be unstoppable and figuring out, okay, what can I do? What do I have under control? And stop focusing on what everybody else is doing, saying, or not doing and not saying. And especially politicians and viruses and everything we have absolutely no control over.
Yeah.
So this just makes our life, when we feel like a victim, no, and it makes our life a little bit measly and miserable. So
Right.
And yes, it's like I know how I feel when somebody, like if I'm upset about something that I have no control over, for example, and somebody comes and says, well, it's just how you think about it. This can be very triggering, you know? But the problem is, it's actually really true. It's like, okay, it's how you think about it. And the other thing is too, is like, how much does it really affect your today life right now? You need to find the importance, or the you need to focus on you and your immediate life right now. And that doesn't mean you have to ignore completely what's going on out there, but this is way more important than that out there. So by bringing back your control to what you do, how you show up, how you think, eventually, like the Buddhists say, a butterfly in China can change the world in Europe, or I butchered this, something like that. No, so it does have an effect. You have more indirect control over what's going on in your environment by focusing on you and controlling what you're doing, rather than focusing on the others and trying to change the others. That's kind of what I want to say.
That's right.
Long-winded.
It's hard to put it into words, really, though. I find it hard to articulate what I really mean sometimes. But sometimes people will get upset by this conversation because they'll say things like, well, then how can you condone what's going on, how people are being murdered and this is happening and that's happening. And when you give up trying to control that, it's not accepting it. It's not saying, oh, well, that's okay, I don't need to think about that. I can, that's not important. Of course it's important, but can you do something about it right now? Is that within your control? And it doesn't mean that you can't still be an activist or still put your energies into making something better. Maybe you can do that, but if you stop trying to control the whole situation or worry about it or have anxiety about it, focus only on your response and how you feel, then you can ask yourself, what can I do? Is there something I can do? And maybe there is. That's when you gain the clarity to be able to say, okay, this is a step that I could do. This is something I could do towards this global thing that bothers me and that is a big challenge in the world. It's not saying, oh, well, that's perfectly okay, I'll just ignore it. It's not that at all. It's that when you focus on yourself and what you can control, it does give you that energy, that ability to get the clarity to see what can I actually do and how can I make a difference. So that's the difference. It's about it's about focusing on what you can really do and how you can make a difference and how you can put your energy into the right things rather than wasting your energy on things that you can't do. And, you know, so that's why sometimes people get angry when we talk about things like this, and we're not saying those things aren't important and you can't do something about them at all, but you're coming then from a place of strength, rather than, you know, struggling to make a difference when you're focusing on the wrong things. So
yeah, and I just want to throw in here that whether you're worrying and wasting your energy on that, or wasting your energy on a certain topic that you have no control over or not, doesn't change that topic. The only place where you actually can change something is what is within your control. And so what you could ask yourself is, okay, this is really bothering me. It's out there, I have no control over, but where does a similar energy or a similar situation show up in my life where I actually can do something? And then you do feel like you're doing something. And it's absolutely not about condemning, but it's about like, I can't change what happens. Sometimes we can't even change what happens outside of our house. No, it's like, and it's and worrying about that and wasting all our energy on it doesn't do anybody any good. Also, not these people that we're worrying about doesn't do any good. So if we want to change something, or if something bothers us really, we have to find it where it is, where we have control over it, and then go from there. And it will have ripple effects. It will.
Yeah, well, that's the beautiful thing. And what the people don't realize, and is really true, that when you stop trying to change things externally and you focus only on yourself, actually you do see more change than if you were trying to make the change happen. So if you have a person in your life, for example, let's say you work with somebody who's a bully, you know, to you, and you've tried being angry with them, you've tried cooperating with them, you've tried all these things, but they're still doing it. You know, so you've tried to change their behavior, you've tried, maybe even tried to understand their behavior, but there is no understanding it. Instead of focusing on them, because you cannot control them, if you instead focused on you and, okay, what are they triggering in me? How can I change my response to them? Let me look at what they're bringing up in me. Maybe they're bringing up insecurities, maybe they're bringing up anxiety or anger or whatever it is. So instead of looking at them, let me look at myself and deal with all these emotions that are within me. Then you respond in a different way to them. Even if you don't say anything to them, your energy is different. They do not get the same reaction from you.
Yeah.
And that's when they stop doing it, because they're no longer getting a reaction, and you haven't tried to stop them doing it. All you've done is focused on yourself. And I know this from firsthand experience, because I've had people in my life like that, and learned that, you know, obviously I can't change them, but I can change me. And when I change me, they stop doing whatever they're doing, or they just disappear out of my life, or whatever it is. So that's how you bring about the change, always by coming back to yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I know why some people get angry, because we feel like the world outside of us is doing something wrong, not we are doing something wrong. So why should it be us or me having to change something? Because they feel like, no, they're wrong, so why do I need to change? And it's the wrong question, because it's only you can change something in yourself. So it's not a matter of, oh, they're wrong and I'm right, and why should I do something? No, that's just the only place where you can do something. In you.
Yeah, I mean, you can have that attitude and feel that way. You know, I'm the one who's right and they're the one who's wrong. Well, good luck with anything changing when you feel that way. And I understand why you feel that way. I have felt that way. I've said that to myself, but had to realize that I could hold on to that, you know, all my life, and it's not going to change anything. The only time something changes is when I change it myself. And the thing is, you know, what we're talking about here, it doesn't mean that you'll never feel anxiety, you'll never feel fear, you'll never doubt yourself. Of course you will, but you'll have the ability, because you're focusing within, you'll have the ability to know how to deal with that. Oh, look at that, I'm feeling anxious about this at the moment. So how, what is that, where is that coming from? What can I do with that? What do I need to learn from that? And that's where the power is, right?
Yeah,
that's where you have the control and you get the confidence, because that's where your power is, to say, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling whatever I'm feeling. What do I need to learn from this? And then once you learn whatever it is, then you are able to deal with things in a much healthier way, and really stop giving your power away to other people, to other situations, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I like how you say that it's still like, it still happens that we feel not confident, or we don't feel in control, or we don't feel like we have clarity, but at least because we kind of know to focus back on us and not on the outside, we're gonna work through it and we're gonna find it again. And I just was reading, forgot the book because I'm reading always more than one book at once, but I was just reading that it's like life is also like waves, so it's not always even keel, even though we all would want to have even keel, but by focusing on us we can get it maybe better. Like, it's not like, oh, huge waves and then deep valleys and huge waves. You can get it to more even keel, but I don't think the goal is going to be that it's all flat like this. This would be boring as hell. We don't want that. But we know, so we're all humans. So you may feel one day very not confident, not in control, and have no clarity, but you have the tools how to get back to out of this valley, get back to where we need to be. And you learn by having it not always easy, you learn how to get better, and you get this resilience, which I feel like the more resilience you have, the more confident you also feel in yourself again, that you're unstoppable, because you just know, I will figure it out. Okay, right now I feel anxious, or I feel that I have no control whatsoever, but I'm gonna figure it out. So
yeah, and that's really what being unstoppable means to me. It means that no matter what comes at you, you know that you have the ability to handle it, even though, okay, something's happening to me right now and it doesn't feel good, and I'm down in the depths, and it's hit me really hard, and it feels really horrible. But being unstoppable means that you allow it, and you just look at it and say, okay, this is where I am, and I can accept this is where I am. Now, what can I do? Is there something I can do within myself to start bringing myself out of this, to deal with whatever has happened? We always have that choice, and we always have that ability, and that is what being unstoppable means. And that's when, even when somebody comes at you and they're, being mean or whatever it is, you recognize that actually has nothing to do with me. I just have to monitor my response to it, how I feel, what they're triggering in me. And that's when you become unstoppable, because you know you can handle anything. It's not that you'll never feel any discomfort. Like you said, you're never going to be, your energy is never going to be at a solid 10 all the time. Oh, I'm feeling great all the time. That's not life. It's not realistic. And if we have that expectation, we will be disappointed a lot. So it's just going with the flow. It's riding the wave. It's okay, this is what's happening. Now I'm going to bring myself out. Oh, look, there's something else, and that is life, I think. That's the flow of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It would be weird if we would be always the same. No, it's like, we're not machines, we're not robots, we're humans with feelings. And I also love, like my mentor always says, like life is 50-50, and you don't want to feel good about everything. So like, for example, we don't want to feel good if somebody is bullied, or somebody is sick and dying. You don't want to feel good about that, but you also can't worry yourself to death, because you have no influence about it. So you have to come back and figure out how can I deal with this? How can I find the clarity, the confidence and the control within me to help this person? If the person is close enough that you can help, how can I help? That is actually what you can do, compared to just feeling completely like a victim or at the influence of whatever goes on outside.
Yeah, that's right.
And focusing on the outside.
Yeah. Well, and I think I will just throw in here that as we're talking about clarity, confidence, and control, Connie and I actually have put together a program that helps people when they're looking for some clarity, confidence, and control, when they're feeling overwhelmed by everything. Because, you know, it's one thing to talk about this. And yes, it always is a choice. And all we need to do is just focus on ourselves. But it's that simple. And it's also hard, you know, especially when you're not used to doing this, because it's really hard to see our own stuff and what gets in the way. So we do have a program, and if you happen to be interested in that, we will put the link to it in the chat, and in the comments, I should say, and then you can go and look at that, and certainly ask us any questions if you have any. But yeah, we love to help people gain this sense of clarity, confidence, and control. And as part of that, we actually take a look at your environment too, because that also has a major effect on you, and it's one of the things that you can control, right? When we're thinking about what can I control, you can control yourself. You can also control your environment to a large extent. So we look at that.
The physical, the mental, and the emotional, the digital, and the
Absolutely.
social to a degree.
All of those things are within our control.
Yeah.
Even when we think they're not, they are.
Yeah, so, always nice to chat with you on Fridays, Linda.
I know.
Such great conversations.
This is a great end to the week. I love it. And a great start to the weekend. So, well, thank you for talking about the 3 C's with me today. And anybody, if you're interested in gaining more clarity, confidence, and control for yourself, then we will put the link in the comments so you can learn more about that. But yes, been a lot of fun as always, and I look forward to our conversation next Friday. All right.
Okay, thanks so much, Linda.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.